Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're as excited as I am. It's Wireless Tuesday. Wireless Tuesday is a monthly podcast that revolves around Cisco wireless LAN and related technologies. It's a way for me and my colleagues on the Cisco Global Wireless team to give back to the community that's given us so much. My name is Jason Grant, and I'm your host. Let's get it going. It's Wireless Tuesday. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I'm your host, Jason Grant. I am here with a good friend of mine, Vivek Menon from July Systems, which is a recent acquisition of Cisco. Vivek, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. Always a pleasure.
Hey, Vivek. For those of us who might not be as familiar, I'm really intrigued by this graphic you have up here. Now, it says, get more from your Wi-Fi. I was wondering if you can tell me what you mean by get more from your Wi-Fi, and maybe tell me a little bit about yourself as well.
Absolutely, Jason. Thank you once again for inviting me to this podcast. Really excited about this opportunity to spend some time with you, and I really love what you guys are doing here, creating this community and some really interesting content around that community. So, as you just said, my name is Vivek Menon. I am the Vice President of Product Marketing for July Systems. July Systems is a recent Cisco acquisition, so I'm, in the last 24 hours, we have officially become Cisco employees, and we're really excited to be part of the Cisco family. Get more from your Wi-Fi, which is probably what you see on your screens right now, is one of the central themes that is going to trigger the journey of this team that's really going to come into Cisco. And that's really why when you invited me into this podcast, I wanted to start with that particular theme and talk to you guys about some of the interesting ideas and interesting things that my team has been doing in the market. Just to kind of expand on what it really means and why do we have to really talk about get more from Wi-Fi. I think to be completely honest with you, Jason, it's really the necessity that's the necessity in the market that's triggering this theme. The ubiquity of Wi-Fi, as you probably know better than me, has really resulted in hundreds of millions worth investments by global enterprises in buying and upgrading Wi-Fi infrastructure across all types of buildings or physical spaces. What probably started off as office spaces is now spread to all types of business establishments that operate out of physical spaces. So maybe we could talk about retail, maybe we could talk about shopping malls or stadiums or venues or hotels or airports. As long as human beings walk into a building, Wi-Fi is an extremely important component of that experience. Now, historically, if you think about it, if you take a step back and just look at the market, the driving force for Wi-Fi investments, common sense suggests that it is the fundamental reason why an enterprise is investing in Wi-Fi is to provide seamless internet connectivity, right? I mean, that's really the central theme of anyone investing in Wi-Fi. But what happens when that immediate goal is achieved, right? What really happens into your Wi-Fi upgrade process or your ability to continue to invest in Wi-Fi? Where does that conversation lead? And when we started looking at that, we kind of realized that the conversation in the market today is really going more from I need Wi-Fi to how can I get more from Wi-Fi? I have invested in Wi-Fi. I know that I have to upgrade my Wi-Fi. I know that I have to buy new hardware. But more than just providing seamless internet connectivity to my employees or my consumers or my visitors, how do I get more from Wi-Fi? And it's kind of very interesting because as you know this and as our audience know this, Wi-Fi is also at the center of this whole community that's being built around indoor location services, right? The conversation always in the market, if you're not Cisco and if you think outside Cisco for a minute, the conversation's always been, what sort of radio signal, what sort of technology do we use? And I think the jury is out there that Wi-Fi is really going to be the center of global indoor location services. And that is really where my team comes in, because my team has really been pioneering innovation in the space. We are pioneers in the mobile and cloud business. My company, July Systems, we are one of the first mobile platforms in the world that ever went to the cloud. We were the first cloud customer, mobile platform cloud customer for AWS. We brought AWS some of their first major customers, all the major sports, retail, entertainment companies in North America. So we've really done pioneering work. And as my founder, Rajesh Reddy, jokes, we've spent a large part of our youth and $100 million of investor money in really investing in pioneering innovation in this space. So that's really what our capability is. Our goal is to kind of become the cloud software layer that sits on top of Wi-Fi infrastructure and deliver incremental value to businesses beyond providing internet connectivity. And that's really what I mean when I say get more from Wi-Fi. And that's really been my personal journey working for a startup company and now coming into Cisco. Because when you are not Cisco, the universe, the physical space universe, is really any building with 4 walls and a roof. And probably even not that, because in one of the meetings that both of us sat in 2 weeks ago, if you remember, one of the questions that came in is, hey, can you do theme parks? And the question came in because it does not have a roof and 4 walls. So that's really metaphorical, when I say 4 walls and a roof. But yes, I mean the technology works across all buildings. But July Systems is a company, and that's really where the synergy with Cisco comes in. We've always been extremely enterprise focused. We were not that company that wanted to, get visitors to sign up using Facebook at a bar and then like or take a selfie. We were more, how can an enterprise, use mobile and cloud to create serendipitous moments of business experiences and personalized customer experiences within the 4 walls of buildings. So I think the DNA of July Systems, as we went through this journey, it was a self-awareness process where we kind of realized that we have to take a bet. And that really kind of differentiated the market for us, because if you kind of look at the overall indoor location services space, there's a lot of people trying to get into the SMB and small business bars and restaurant environment. And that's a completely valid use case, valid journey, but extremely different from an enterprise, because an enterprise is looking for scale. An enterprise is looking for security. It's looking for SLA, end-to-end monitoring. It's looking for being able to find avenues to monetize the airspace within the 4 walls of the building. So, it's looking for ability to integrate into their existing enterprise systems. So the complexity of problems that one needs to think about, when you try to solve the same problem for a large enterprise, is extremely high. So that's really why July Systems and Cisco, I think, has always had a great synergy. But to answer your point, right? I mean, within the landscape of a large enterprise, there are so many retail customers that we have that are using this product today, right? I mean, without taking names, we have some of the largest and the best known brands, retailers and shopping malls and hotels and hospitality companies and stadiums using this product today. So, space really is probably not the first concern. The concern more or the bet more is that company and enterprise. And if that is really the case, there's a great product fit in what we have to offer. Before I kind of go into the demo, Jason, I just want to kind of probably give you the main pillars of how the product thinking has happened and then kind of switch to the demo. We fundamentally believe that there is a problem of blind spots in physical spaces. And that's really how these 4 pillars arrive at, right? I mean, take any physical space, and compare it with a digital asset or a digital property. Take a web application, take a website, or take a mobile application. Look at the amount of intelligence that's built into some of these digital systems. You can understand and study and analyze its own performance, and B, you're also able to compare the behavior of users of that product and constantly adapt and engage and really maximize the customer lifetime value if you are in the business of building a digital a platform product today. And at a philosophical level, what July Systems always wanted to do was to try and see how do we bring in the same level of smartness. How do we solve the digital blind spot in buildings? You always know what a visitor does when they're outside the building and before they enter and after they exit. But what really happens when a visitor has walked into your own enterprise airspace? And the journey, as you can see my screen, is very simple. It's basically connect, know, engage, and integrate. Connect is nothing but being able to onboard the guests or the visitors or the employees, depending on the type of business that you are, into the Wi-Fi infrastructure. Knowing is basically where our advanced analytics. We've spent the last 2 years building a fantastic team and building algorithms, AI and ML, to kind of go beyond the traditional analytics that's provided for the IT audience from Wi-Fi, and really look at breaking down that raw data information and seeing what is the business interpretation, what is the business value of the fact that people are spending time at these buildings, and what does that really mean to a CXO? What does that really mean to a loyalty team or marketing team, a line of business team? And once you understand that business behavior, we always call it who, when, where, how, and what. Once you understand and have answers to these 5 questions, you're then able to deliver personalized engagements. And that's really the third pillar of our product. You've connected, you know the behavior at your properties. You are able to measure the behavior of your properties. Then can I do a personalized engagement with those visitors? And that is an extremely exhaustive process. We are able to do app-based engagements. We are able to do SMS-based engagements, email-based engagements. These engagements are triggered by a very interesting rule engine, if this, then that. So you go in and set rules, extremely simple. Anybody can do that in under 5 minutes. And I'm going to, as I demo the platform, you'll see what I mean. And it kind of magically triggers anybody who satisfies the rule that you set in the system, they are going to be engaged. And finally, the most important piece for the enterprise is how do you integrate this location service into the larger enterprise IT infrastructure. So, we have a robust API program that integrates with enterprise applications. And when that finally happens, that's really the nirvana state, because you finally solved the problem of the blind spot. You have not only understood what is really the visitor behavior is, you also have the capability to engage, and you're integrating all this information into your existing CRM systems, your Salesforce database, your PMS, your marketers of the world, so that you finally get a 360-degree view of your customer. So that's really what we do, and I'm very excited now to come out of this presentation and walk you guys through what it really means to do that with CMX Engage, which is basically powered by July Systems. And today, as we are now part of Cisco, essentially the same team. So it's a cloud dashboard. There's a very robust user management system, based on your roles, based on your specific level and responsibility within the organization. You're kind of given the login. This module really is called location hierarchy, and Jason, this is basically the backbone of this platform, because you're basically, when you talk about indoor location services, and when you start talking about delivering all this value of insights and advanced analytics, you're basically moving up the value chain, moving up the buyers in the enterprise, right? I mean, a business manager is really not going to understand what an access point MAC address really means. There's really no relevance for the network topology for the business teams, which kind of pulls in your entire network infrastructure layer and kind of helps you present that same information and group it in business relevant forms. So to your point, here you're only seeing a country and 2 particular cities, because this is a demo account. But if you were looking at our largest customer, which is live over 5,500 hotels, different geographies, different brands, different sizes and different segments of hotels, different floors within each of those segments. Why? Because you have to understand that location hierarchy is also the way by which raw data that we're collecting from these Wi-Fi access points is processed. So by creating a robust location hierarchy engine, which by the way automatically updates. So if you move access points around from the bar to the restaurant in a hotel, it automatically updates here. So there's really no need to change the hierarchy. We're automatically connected to the all access points. We understand the zone. So all of that happens automatically. So this is incredible innovation for the enterprise because now whatever that you're going to see in this dashboard is consumable by a business manager. They understand why and how we are showing the data. And that data has a business taxonomy over the network infrastructure. So just to kind of quickly show you how that works, right? I mean, in this case, you go into Americas and you have Brazil and United States as the country. It's a very simple taxonomy that we've created as a demo. Let's quickly jump into what proximity rules really mean in this platform. I want to focus on, and we have three separate types of rules. We have captive portals rules. Basically, we have invented smart captive portals, which is a very different way of onboarding customers. It drives higher onboarding rates in B2C locations. Profile rule is nothing but being able to set rules based on the location hierarchy that you've set to understand the behavior, to track behavior of people within your location. So, I mean, it's extremely simple. As you can see, I press the create the button. Let's call this high dwellers in East Coast, right? And that's just the rule name that I've given. And when a user is on Wi-Fi and entry, exit, and presence is the three main components of how we understand the visitor behavior. So since I'm talking about high dwellers, I'm saying present, and I'm saying, okay, maybe if they spend over 45 minutes at my property, then they're high dwellers, right? And then because I'm setting it up for East Coast, I select New York, and just keep in mind that if you had a much robust location hierarchy, you could do much smarter things, right? You could break it down to brands, you could break it down to zones, segments, bars, food courts, global food courts, food courts by geography. The sky's the limit in terms of what you can do because it's an extremely flexible module. And you can do a lot of other smart things as well. You can kind of put in a bunch of identities, tags, etc., and also kind of associate tags to each of these behaviors. So, I'm kind of adding a tag, high New York dweller, or if I even want to create a new tag, I can call it high East Coast dwellers and kind of add it and associate it to this behavior. So as soon as I do it and as soon as I save and publish, what's really happening is if any of the visitors who've connected to Wi-Fi across any of my stores in East Coast and have spent over 45 minutes, they're automatically tagged with that tag that I added. And I hope you now understand what it means to engage, because then it becomes really simple. I just go to my engagement rules and add that tag that I created, because that's really the kind of engagements I want to do. And let's say I want to do an SMS-based East Coast engagement where when a user is on Wi-Fi and entering the location let's say New York, because that's my East Coast right now. You can, again, like I said, you have a bunch of filters, bunch of tags, bunch of rules that you can set. You can choose to notify the consumer. And this is an incredible option, Jason, just so that you know, because there's also a business side to this whole thing. You're working for enterprises, right? So you could actually set engagement rules not just for the end consumer. You could actually do it for people who are running those properties. So this is a huge value for property managers, store managers, people who are running these establishments. Let's say a loyalty member is walking in. Let's say a platinum member in a hotel is walking in, and you want to do a meet and greet. That's really what you do there. But in the context of this example, I'm selecting consumer and maybe only once, and then selecting the option to do an SMS, right? And then setting up the demo, the gateway, attaching the rules to pull his first name and last name and making a very personalized engagement. It is that simple. You set up the profile rules, which is basically creating location personas. You set up the engagement rules that works off the profile rules and the location hierarchy, and that works across all your global locations using the single dashboard. Just to very, very quickly show you the kind of reports and kind of things that we track. And a lot of this is primarily targeted at the IT users, but we also have some incredible reports that are targeted at the business users. One thing that people always love looking at it is this right now module that we have, which is quite interesting because it kind of pulls in the live real-time information of visitor behavior and what's really happening at your location. So this is just an illustration because this is a demo account. But what it's really saying is that in that particular instance, you have 5,860 active visitors, and it's broken down based on your location hierarchy that you've created for yourself. It's broken down into the other information that you capture when you onboard these visitors. So if you have used techniques in the onboarding where you have captured their gender, or if you have an API integration into your enterprise where you already know that this is a male or female, then you kind of get information based on that. You get information based on what information they've already given you in terms of mobile phones and email IDs, in terms of the kind of tags that you've created, right? And I saw you how to create tags, and the split of the distribution of visitors based on their personas comes in. The time that they spend, the duration of their visits, and all of this happens at a global level and also happens at a brand level, at a geography level, and at an independent building level. If you're just running a single retail store with a single AP, I can get that information as well. And I can configure this dashboard for that property manager who will not have access to the global dashboard. He or she will only be seeing that specific information for that particular store. All of what I've shown you, and I've taken a lot of effort to not show you all the cool stuff that we've built on top of it. If I start showing you some of the machine learning based algorithms, some of the cool things that we are going to release in the next 12 months, it's going to be incredible.
Now, without getting into details, I see something on your little pyramid slide that's intriguing. It says integrations. Can you give me maybe a really short idea or a really short explanation of what that means? What do you integrate with?
Because we're in the business of working with enterprises, integrations is about taking this location cloud platform that you are offering them and integrating it into their enterprise system. So you could be integrating into a CRM system so that when I present you with an onboarding form and I enter my email address, you're not acquiring the customer, you're onboarding an existing loyal customer. So seamlessly integrating an existing CRM system with the onboarding process is a great example. This is a platform. So even when I talk about an engagement, one of the mistakes that a lot of people think is that, oh, this is a marketing tool because it's all about personalized engagements. No. We're just providing a bare bone toolkit to the IT and the business teams. We are very cognizant that there are much more advanced engagement apps that are available in the market today. And when I talk about integrations, it's also taking all this information, all these APIs, all these rule engines, all these location hierarchy, all these reports-based APIs, and plugging that into advanced apps that can use it to do other business functions that are already being done for these companies. And that's really why I told you, Jason, that there's a huge partner play. This is not something that we want to do independently. This is where, the fundamental belief for July Systems, and this comes in from Rajesh Reddy, who always kind of believes in good karma in general, is you cannot be successful without making the entire ecosystem successful. So this is basically our effort to create a global unified cloud where everybody, every single stakeholder, be it Cisco sales, be it Cisco partner, be it the end customer, how do you kind of make each of these stakeholders successful? And integrations play a very important role there.
Vivek, thank you so much for your time today. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Jason, I think, I just want to say that the entire team for July Systems, we're a very passionate team that's always believed in this mission to digitize all physical spaces. We genuinely believe that it will solve much larger problems in the world if you start making physical spaces smarter. And we cannot be more excited to be partnering and working and becoming a part of the Cisco family.
Well, Vivek, I will get you into our WebEx team space called Cisco Full Bars. We've got a lot of people on that. It actually has been a great community, and I have to thank the community members because the amount of help that people give each other has been just awesome to watch. I'd love to get you involved in that community and hopefully get some more get some more folks trying this out. Thank you so much for your time, and appreciate you coming on Wireless Tuesday.
I appreciate you inviting me, Jason. I had a lot of fun talking to you. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Cisco's Wireless Tuesday. Be sure to continue the conversation at ciscofullbars.com, and at the top, click on the CFB Spark community. There, you can connect with scores of like-minded wireless LAN professionals. Be sure to subscribe to the Wireless Tuesday podcast using your favorite podcast player, and stay up to date by subscribing to the Wireless Tuesday newsletter at wirelesstuesday.fm. We will see you next month for an exciting episode of Wireless Tuesday.